Today in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this rice paper sails. I know they are trendy right now, but I have my way of making them this colorful, and I'll show you how to add all this embellishment. So let's begin. To make my sails I'm going to use this regular rice paper. You can buy it at any grocery store. But to make it soft and pliable, what I have here is a cup of warm water, and I have a piece of parchment paper on my table. So to soften my rice paper, I'm going to apply a decent amount of water on my backside first. And I want my backside to have some color, so I'm going to use this airbrush pearl sheen, and I'm going to spread it around lightly, just to give it some shine from the back. I'm going to turn it upside down and work on my front piece. So now I will apply a little bit more water to make it stick to my parchment paper. So I have my piece of rice paper stuck to my parchment paper. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my colors. I will take the same airbrush color, and you can use gel color, just a little bit, or you can use petal dust. So I will mix a few different colors in different shades with water to paint my sail. So I'm taking a few drops of water, mix here. This is going to be my base color. And then I'm going to mix the same midnight blue and paint on top. And then I want to add a little bit more of pink light color here in the center. I will take this Aurora Rose petal dust and just sprinkle this slightly on top. Then I will take a piece of sponge, wet, and just gently press it down to create my design. And I definitely need more darker colors here on the side, so I will take again this midnight blue color, take another piece of sponge and press it down to create all the speckles. Now, when I have colors that I like, I will take a few clothespins, and because my rice sail stuck to my parchment paper, I will shape it in a way I want it to be on my final cake. And I will put it aside to dry and start to work on the next one. So when I have my rice paper sail like this, and I left it to dry for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and if I want to put it on my cake, what I do is I take a toothpick, and usually I will take this bottom part, release it from my parchment paper, and I'm going to take my toothpick and fix it to my rice paper sail. If this is going to be my topper, like on the top of my cake, I would probably recommend you to use something like a lollipop stick because it's more substantial. But here this is going to be on my side. So next thing what I'm going to do is release my toothpick and take something to prep it to dry horizontally, like something like a styrofoam block. So now I have my toothpick 90 degrees to my sail, and I will put it aside to dry until it's fully dry. So it's probably for a few hours or maybe overnight, depends on your humidity. Let's make our decorations for our rice sails. I'm going to use gum paste, and because it's galaxy themed, I have this plungers, and I need to make number 3 for the birthday boy, and I have just a small piece of gum paste You can use fondant for this, just leave it to dry for a little bit longer. And because I'm using gum paste, I'm going to roll it out relatively thin to cut my number. And then I will put it aside to dry. If you have sprinkles that are star-shaped or in any theme you make in your sails, you can definitely use those. Now when my stars and decorations are dry, I'm going to color them using edible silver dust and a little bit of alcohol. Now when my rice paper sails are about 80% dry, I'm going to release them and remove parchment paper to let them dry completely. And if you want to speed up the process, you don't want to wait for several hours for your rice paper sails to dry, you can place them in your oven on the lowest setting for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depends on the temperature. And then before removing your rice sails from your parchment paper, let them cool completely. Now when I have my rice paper sails released from the parchment paper baking, and to add decorations to my sail, this is going to be my topper and I have my silver number here. I'm going to use piping gel as I want. My piping gel is relatively thick, so I know that I can apply decent amount on the back side of my number and stick it on my sail, and it will hold relatively nicely. So I'm going to do the same with my other decorations. I will put a little bit of piping gel here, and then I'm going to dip my stars into piping gel and place it on my sail. And to make it even more beautiful, I'm going to take again my brush, apply thin amount of piping gel on some spots, especially where I have like rocks or something I wanted to cover up. And I'm going to take my sanding sugar and sprinkle a little bit on my sail. Where I have piping gel, sanding sugar will stick, and I will remove the rest. If I have different types of decorations like the silver balls, I'm going to add them as well using a little bit of piping gel. Now I want to add a little bit of black nonpareils as an accent on my sail, and I'm going to use much smaller brush, dip it in a piping gel, dip it in my nonpareils, and then add it to my sail in some spots where I want to bring more attention. So I'm basically mixing my nonpareils with the piping gel, making them sticky and attaching onto my sail. Now I have my beautiful rice paper topper with the number, and you can obviously add nonpareils to your number, or you can use different colors. And to assemble my rice sails on a cake, I will start with my top one, and I have this one on a toothpicks. I will place this one here, and then I will place the rest of my sails on my cake using a little bit of royal icing, and hold it for a few seconds until it's stuck to my cake. If your rice paper sail doesn't want to stay in place while you're waiting for your royal icing to dry, you can use a toothpick, insert here just to help it to stay in place. So in my last sail, I want to place it here. Now you have it. Now you know how to make this galaxy design on your rice paper sails. I hope you like this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week.